So hey guys, welcome back in Bangla YT and another part of our Unreal Engine Blueprint code, and this is our last part of learning Blueprint code. Okay, so last of playlist videos we'll learn these tons of Blueprint code. Yeah, there's a tons of, because by this Blueprint code you can make any type of TDP game, FPP game, and racing game, or plane game. Any type of game you must need to use this code, because this is a basic and very useful. Okay, what you already learned. Now let's learn the lastest part, that is the variable. That is the most important stuff or the blueprint code in Unreal Engine for make game development. Okay, so also I show you some, because this is a variable, so there's some changes come in Unreal 4 to 5 in the variable section. So I'll also demonstrate you what is the basically change. And also, because this is the last part, so I want to tell you one more time that if you are a Bengali, so আমি তাদের জন্য বলে দিচ্ছি সিম্পলি দ্যাট তোমরা যারা বাঙালি আছো, যদি ব্লুপ্রিন্ট কোডগুলো শিখতে চাচ্ছ বাট বাংলা ভাষায়, সো তোমরা অবশ্যই আমার আনরিয়াল ইঞ্জিন বাংলাদেশ নামে চ্যানেলটা যেটা আছে সেটাতে ভিজিট করতে পারো। সেটার ভিতরে সেম একটা প্লেলিস্ট আছে ব্লুপ্রিন্ট কোড নামে, ঠিক আছে? সো সেখান থেকে তুমি বাংলাতে সব কিছু, যে জিনিসগুলো আমরা এতদিন ইংলিশে শিখতেছিলাম সেই জিনিসগুলো তোমরা বাংলাতে ইজিলি শিখতে পারবে, সব কিছুই সেম, ঠিক আছে? সো এতটুকুই। ওকে গাইস, সো আই অলরেডি টেল হোয়াট আই নিড টু টেল। সো ইয়া, লেটস স্টার্ট। সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল, what is this variable? So first of all we found the boolean, then integer, then vector 2D, float, vector, string, and a third person variable. So now let's start. So first of all, for creating a variable, you can find a variable section of at left sides, and if you are any of player class, so inside of that you find in basically also the left side, that is a variable. Okay, lots same variable available for the player class or the main class. Okay, so first of all, that is a boolean. The boolean is kind of like, if let's create, okay, yeah, let's create a boolean. So by clicking this add pin, we can basically create a boolean, so or variable. Then we can change the variable type from here. There's a tons of variable available, but will be set boolean. Okay, so we can change the boolean name from at here, whatever you want. So I'm just giving that b1 for boolean. And then you find that there's some option available, that is instant editable. If you tick on this thing, what this mean that you can edit this thing from your settings. Okay, so unfortunately I can't show you this thing from at here, because for executing this thing you must need to inside of any character or blueprints. Okay, kind of like, because we have this actor, this is a basically a separate actor. Oh no, this is Unreal Engine 4, sorry. Let me show why is the basically class. This is a basically separate class. So if I enable at here, okay, and if I now drag and drop at this thing at here, at the details panel we can see, let me go details panel. As you can see, there's a booleans are now come. Okay, basically we can control, if we set here basically the editable, it's mean that we can control this thing from our runtime viewport also. Okay, basically this is a basically feature, because some of cases you must need this thing, that's why. Then there's not so much more available, but there's a option available, that is replication. The replication, it's mean that if you are using this variable for a multiple game, kind of like you want to create a game that is a multiplayer game, and now you using this boolean for verifying something in multiplayer section, so you must need to set it to replicated to network replicated, or it will be not work in the multiplayer section. So you must need to share this thing. Okay, because we already learned what is this that, so let's learn that how you can basically use. Basically, what is this boolean? Is a kind of like a node that it's have two inputs. You can give that one is true or false. Okay, if you can get and set this thing. So if you tick this thing, it's mean that it's have a note right now that you are click on true. So if you click on false, it will become false. Okay, untick and false. Okay, now let's see an example, or let's if I tell you example that how you can use, or at why you can want to use this. So just think that you want to verify that you are some of player near, or are you near of the gun. So how you can remember that are you are near of the gun? You must need a variable. So for that, just think that you have the near of the gun, so you can tick it to tick. It's mean that yes, we are near of the gun. So you can from this thing you can get variable that are it's true or false by searching if and else. Okay, because we already learned that what is if and else. So if it's true, so it's mean that we are near of the gun. If it's false, it's mean that we are not near of the gun. Okay, so basically you can use this system for picking system and other stuff. Okay, now let's learn that what is basically the integer. Okay, so basically the integer is a number variable. Okay, instead of the integer you can store numbers. Okay, but make sure that is only number, and make sure it's also have the same that editable and network replication. Okay, so integer what but by integer you can do something more also. But for first of all, learn that what you can save at integer. You can save any type of number at integer, kind of like you can save data at 5, or you can save data 2, or you can save data numbers of data you can save at here. But as you can see, the highest there's a number can only integer can remember. That is, as you can see, this is the most of number integer can remember in one section, not more than. If you need some more, you can use the integer 64, that is the double of this variable, but I don't think so that you need more than this variable. Okay, now let's learn that what is basically the float. Okay, the float is a basically a 1.0 or 4.5 kind of like a number variable. Okay, at here you can also save the number variable, but in a float range, or kind of like a point range. Kind of like you want to save a variable that is 0.2, so you can save it here. But in integer you can't save this thing. You need to save 1, 2 or 5. It's kind of like a full number. You can't use a point number. Okay, so for using any point number or verifying, or if you want to store some, you can use the float. Okay, so yeah, then you find the basically the vector. Vector is, as I said in my last video, vector have 3 basically inside of float. Okay, like he have a 3 float value. If you click on split, right mouse and split, you find that it have x, y and z. The vector most of cases used for the location, rotation and other stuff. Kind of like if there's any actor or anything using the 3 stuff, that is x, y, z, so at that position or that case the vector value we can use. And also vector use the float variable. Now you have a question that, bro, why vector, why Unreal Engine use the vector in float, why they didn't use the integer? Because just think that, guys, in our world there's sometime we need a more accurate, kind of like sometime we can need 1.2 meter or data, so we can't do integer value, but we can do a float. Also by float we can make a full number. So that's why most of cases, or the vector cases, Unreal Engine use the float value. Okay, so that is basically the vector. Now let's learn that what is the vector 2D. Basically the vector 2D is similar, like basically if I say you like basically the float, kind of like float, but it's have also only x and y. It's not a vector, it's a vector 2D. Vector 2D have only x and y. This variable most of cases used for the touch screen making, kind of like if you want to create an Android touch screen, so at that case you must need to use the vector 2D variable for saving your 2D basically data. Because in 2D if only you can go x or y, you can't go x, y and z. Okay, you have 2 options, you can go to y, you can go to x. Okay, so that's why this is called vector 2D. Okay, now let's learn that what is basically the string. String is basically kind of like you can save any type of data that contain numbers, letters, characters or something else like symbols. You can add anything at string. Okay, there's anything can be editable. You can add characters, number or any of stuff. Okay, you can use the symbols or anything in a string. So most of cases the string used for getting data from, or get a print string, or like what is the basically log are now doing, what is the basically variable, or kind of like some others you know, that moment or kind of like conditions. Also there's one more boolean I forget to add, that is not a boolean, that is variable type is name. That is the same, similar, but name only can add the characters. Okay, you can only add the words and you can't add any type of number. Oh yeah, you can add number, but this name is basically used for the characters, or kind of like, as I said, that name is a character, but you can store also string, but most of cases you must need to save the text. Okay, So also there is a text variable also available, okay, because that is only text. Okay, so yeah, if you want you can change this thing only text. Okay, there's only a separate option is also available if you want to save only the text, and it will give you lots of feature, and both all the variables have the editable and replication. Okay, so then we have basically the actor reference, which I already learned you, but let me learn you one more time if you didn't understand last of previous video. Basically this is mean that you can save any of actor data in this variable. For by this variable you can use that one. Okay, so guys, we already learned about these variables, so now let's learn that what is basically the multiply, flow, or add and divided and minus. So as you can see in Unreal Engine 4, for example, let's use the integer, and I want to add a variable, or I want to now make, just think that I have the value now 1, I want to make this value to 2 or 3. Okay, just think that I have now 20 ammo, I have now 10 ammo, but I get some more ammo. So now for making the add system, so what I need to do, I can use the plus, and as you can see, but in Unreal Engine 5, as you can see, it's coming the add, it's not showing the plus symbols, but we are using the plus symbol. That is the main changes come in Unreal Engine 4 to 5. So let me show you. If we go to open level class, so at open level class, if you want to add anything in Unreal Engine 4, like if you want to add, so as you can see, the plus variable is coming, integer plus integer, vector plus integer. But as you can see that in Unreal Engine, that is option is not coming. There's only a option coming that is add, and that is coming in integer variable. Okay, so also if you want, you can add it to manipulate that add. So but this thing, as you can see, it's not set. Why? Because why this color is not changing? It's mean that you can also connect it with this thing to float. Okay, also if you want, you can convert this thing to a vector. Also if you want, you can convert it to float to vector, and if you want also, you can convert this thing to a vector 2D to float. Okay, that is basically some amazing stuff. But in Unreal Engine 4, that is giving by separated. Like if I want, I can also add the plus button. As you can see, Unreal give me the integer, or if I want to add with vector or some others variable. Okay, but as you can see in Unreal 5, it's automatically coming. So that is the basically change coming in Unreal Engine 5 to 4 in variable section. So if you want to add something or make the variable some more, like I have the 10 value and I want to add now more 10 value, so I can put at here that how much value I want to add. So I want to add the 10 value, then I can basically set the variable. Okay, kind of like that. So now once this system will be run, so now it will be get the how much data we have. From that it will be plus one more 10 data in our this integer. Okay, or also if you want, you can also add the only 10 variable. Okay, it depends on yourself. Also for the same thing that for the minus, okay, you have already the minus, that is subtract, and also you have the divided. So by division you can add the divided integer, but as you can see, it give you the percentage. Okay, first of all, if you use the division, you find that it's give you percentage. Okay, like let me show you one more way. That is, as you can see, as you find also this thing. But in Unreal Engine, if you do the same thing with division, you find like this thing. Okay, there are some changes, as you can see. So that is the basically some problem. So I think in Unreal Engine 4 it's become fake, so you don't need to do anything, or you know, in just in Unreal Engine 5 the preview number 3, or maybe in future they will be fix this stuff. So also you find the minus variable and the stuff. And then let's talk about what is the evaluated or not. That is basically if you want to set a reference that are these variable is true, or there's some data stored or not, because as you can see, there's a now empty data, there's a no third person data class selected. So if this is a none, it's mean that this is empty. So if we search with the if and else, so it's mean that will be get output that false, because we don't have any stuff. So but if I set any of third person character, so now it's have some value. So if this is evaluated, so we have the data right now in true. Okay, so I hope you understand this one. And for the break vector, that is only used for the vector option, because as I said that you can split this thing, or if you want, you can, without splitting this thing, you can break this thing. So you can search the BRE and you find the break vector. So that is basically break your vector. Okay, that is to x, y and z, it will be break into 3 okay section. Also you can make this thing like a make vector. Okay, yeah, you can make this thing also a make vector, and it will be convert basically your this thing to a, okay, like it will be convert your x, y and z to a vector. Okay, so yeah, that is some, you know, cool stuff, but yeah, this is cool. Then at boolean you find here something that equals and getter equals, that is getter, and less equals and less than. So it's basically used for the booleans only. You can use this stuff only for the boolean if you want to verify that are these two booleans are true or not. Okay, just think that you have the two booleans and now you want to verify that are the true booleans are both are true or not, so you can do with this thing. Okay, also there's some more available for the and not boolean and or boolean. Okay, like the or bool, that is or boolean, that are these and or one more are true or not, or the both are equals or not. Okay, so you can verify with this thing. Okay, so there are some more variables also available. So that, guys, that is all for today's video. So I hope you understand about the Unreal Engine Blueprint course. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Love you all. Bye bye, see you in next video. Yeah, not next video because this is over. So yeah, bye bye, take care.